Good evening, and welcome to Shhh Productions Vintage Radio Hour. Our collaboration with over 50 outstanding performers and technicians from across the country, and the legacy of audio entertainment that harkens back to the golden days of radio, brings you a second season of 12 shows filled with suspense, mystery, fear, and maybe a little murder. The upcoming show, The Strange Sisters, originally airing in 1946, features Phil Wells, Mary Cinnamon Maxwell, Kim Garrison Hopcraft, Dani Mann, Jared Saltman, Molley Burgo Collins, Stephanie Bright, Stephen Hanna, Brian Biller, and Nick Martin, in a cautionary tale about what happens when sibling rivalry goes awry. Stay tuned after the show for the final show of Season 2, The Medium Was Rare, a good old-fashioned yarn about a private investigator angling to solve a devious crime, which starts at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Now, shh.
I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak. Now, the three Randall girls were as different from each other as day and night. Even the people of Newton, Georgia, who had watched them grow up, found it hard to accept the fact that they were sisters. Pamela, the eldest, was forceful and overbearing. Kathy, the youngest, was a weak one. Life was a little too complicated for her, and she found the easiest solution was just to let Pamela face it. Used to bring problems to Pamela, who listened meekly to Pamela's instructions and then to quietly obey. Yes, Pamela and Kathy were two extremes. And Sally, the third sister, was in the middle, both in age and temperament. The combination of Pamela's strength and Kathy's frailty had produced in Sally a kind of radiance that had made life easy for her, that had made her sure of success where her sisters had failed. And the more she succeeded, the harder it became for Pamela and Kathy to face it. Until one morning, Mrs. Stokes, the housekeeper, called Kathy for breakfast. There was no answer.
Miss Kathy, your breakfast is on the table. Oh, that girl. Takes a team of horses to get her out of bed. Miss Kathy, your breakfast is ready, young lady, and I ain't going to keep it warm for you another moment. Miss Kathy, answer me. I know you're... Oh, good Lord. Oh, it's locked now. My key. Oh, there it is. Oh, Miss Kathy, what are you... Oh, gas. The heater. Oh, where's the handle? Oh, there, it's off. Miss Pamela! Miss Pamela, come quick! The window! Miss Pam!
What's the matter? What's the matter?
It's Kathy. She's... Oh, Miss Pamela! Miss Kathy!
Here, let me. Kathy, dear, let me see. Her pulse. Well, she's alive. Call Dr. Johnson, quickly.
Well, do you think she...
Don't just stand there like an idiot. Call the doctor.
Oh, yes. Yes, Miss Pamela. Right away.
Hello, Pamela.
Well, it's nice of you to leave your work, Sally.
Well, that's a peculiar remark to make.
Oh, I think it's apropos at the moment.
I don't.
As usual, I suppose we disagree.
Well, where is she?
In there with Dr. Johnson.
Will she be all right?
You don't know yet.
Well, I'm going in and I'm going to see for myself.
You are not going in there.
You can't stop me, Pamela. I've got a right to know. And since you didn't choose to tell me over the phone, I'll find out for myself.
I said wait.
Kathy is my sister too, Pamela. She doesn't belong to you. You've had her under your thumb for so long, the poor girl can't even think for herself.
All right, go on in if you want to kill her.
What do you mean by that?
I have managed to convince Dr. Johnson it was an accident.
It was an accident. She left the gas heater on, for heaven's sake.
You've never been very clever, Sally. Kathy tried to kill herself.
You're wrong. You're making it up. She didn't have a reason.
I admit it wasn't a very good reason, but it's been used 1,000 times.
Go on.
It's a man, Sally, and a rather shabby specimen at that.
She was in love?
Yes.
How long has it been going on?
6 months or more.
You're sure?
Of course I'm sure.
Who is it, Pamela?
Your fiancé.
Henry? Why, you're wrong. You must be wrong. He never gave her any reason. He's hardly even spoken to her.
You asked me, and I told you.
Pamela, where did Kathy get the idea that Henry French was in love with her? Tell me, Pamela, where did it come from?
I don't know.
You stepped into that part of her life too, didn't you? Answer me!
Oh, come now, Sally. Now don't distort that pretty finishing school face of yours. It's your biggest asset, you know. It's gotten you everything you've ever wanted. Why, there's no end to what it can do.
How can you be so contemptuous?
Well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe you are clever. Insinuating your way into father's confidence, bowing and scraping, playing the faithful daughter when he was ill. That's why father left everything to you when he died. $50,000 and 2 sisters to provide for, if and when you felt like it. We're your favorite charity, aren't we? That's part of the act, too. Lady Bountiful.
I've heard all I want to hear, Pamela.
Very well. Perhaps you'd better go.
I'm going to see Kathy whether you like it or not. You see, I was wrong. I'm admitting it.
Oh?
I was wrong leaving you and Kathy under the same roof. I just hope it isn't too late to do anything about it.
Well, perhaps you're forgetting it's my roof, too.
As long as I choose to let you stay here, Pamela. It's funny, isn't it, Pamela? Try to be fair. You try to do the right thing, and it all blows up in your face. Well, Dr. Johnson?
I think she's going to be all right.
May I see her, Doctor?
She asked for Pamela.
Well, I'm sure if she knows I'm here.
Perhaps you'd better wait, Sally. She was rather specific.
What do you mean, specific?
She doesn't want to see you, Sally.
Oh.
I'll go in, Doctor. Are you going to wait, Sally?
No. I'll go.
I left her a prescription on the dresser, Pamela. 3 drops and half a glass of water every 4 hours. May I drop you off somewhere, Sally?
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Kathy, are you all right?
No, I'm not all right. I'll never be all right anymore.
You mustn't feel that way, dear.
I made a mess of this, too. I never do things right, do I, Pam? What will Henry think of me now?
They only know what I told them, Kathy. They think it was an accident. Don't worry about Henry, dear.
You must have been wrong, Pam. He doesn't love me. He couldn't. He would have told me. He wouldn't have just gone off with Sally.
Maybe you'll believe me now, Kathy. She is capable of anything. She owns it all now. The house, the money, and now Henry French. Don't you see, Kathy? He was the only thing she didn't have. He was yours. She made up her mind she wanted him to.
But he never told me.
Of course he didn't. Sally never gave him a chance.
I hate her. It's awful, Pam, but I can't help it. I hate her.
So do I.
What can we do?
Well, maybe you'd better rest a while now.
No! Now tell me, Pam, what are we going to do?
There's a way. Yes, there is a way.
What?
Kathy, we're going to kill her.
Well, Pamela, jealousy can do strange things to a mind like yours, can't it? And it's a peculiar mind, filled to the bursting point with frustrated black hatred for your sister Sally, accumulated during the long years the three of you spent under the same roof with your father. She always had everything, didn't she? You and Kathy had to take what was left and lack it. Yes, Pamela, that jealous hatred has brought you to the point where you'll stop at nothing, lying, cheating, twisting the truth in such a way that your poor gullible sister Kathy believes the very existence of Sally condemns her to begging for crumbs at Sally's table when the bread is rightfully hers. And you've thought of everything, haven't you, Pam? You're confident that Kathy is prepared for the talk with Sally that's bound to come sooner or later.
Look, Kathy, I know I'm right about Pamela.
Why must you always talk about Pamela? Pamela did this. If it wasn't for Pamela. Oh, stop it, will you? I tell you, Pamela is the only one in the world I can turn to.
Please, Kathy, please. Believe me, you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You are, dear. She's filled your mind with all sorts of hateful lies about me and Henry.
Why do you keep throwing that in my face? Henry. He's yours now, isn't he? You've got him. And you're smart, just like she said. All right, take him. Marry him. I don't care. It doesn't make any difference now.
Kathy, apparently there is nothing I can do or say that will make any difference in the way you feel. I promised Father I'd take care of you. Well, I'm leaving you the house and all the furniture, and I'm making arrangements for a trust fund that will provide for you both.
That's charitable of you.
Under the circumstances, I think it is. I'll expect you and Pamela to be civil to Henry until we leave. Is that clear?
Is he coming here?
Yes.
To live?
Yes. For a week or so.
I don't understand.
It's very simple. We're going to be married tonight.
Yes, Pamela, Kathy was prepared, wasn't she? Mm-hmm. Sally was right. Nothing she could do or say would make any difference, because Kathy is yours, isn't she? For too many years, she's depended on you for guidance, looked to you for advice, regarded everything you said as true and everything else as false. Yes, jealousy is a strange thing, Pamela. It's been there deep inside for as long as you can remember. And it was convenient for you to find a cause for it. Sally and your father, the legacy, the house, the money. But that's gone now, isn't it, Pamela? Sally's been pretty fair about it. She and Henry are married now, and you have the house and your share of the money. That's what's strange about jealousy. The cause is gone, but it's still there, stronger than ever, and with it, your plan for murder.
Did you get the key to their room from Mrs. Stokes?
Yes, well, here it is.
She doesn't know you have it.
No, she's gone to the store. I took it off the hook.
Give it to me.
What are you going to do?
Just look around a little.
Why?
Henry's things are up there. He brought them in last night before they left.
Well?
I'm just curious, Kathy. Just curious. All right now, Kathy, you can put the key back now.
Did you find anything?
Yes, several things.
What?
Kathy, I'll do the shopping tomorrow.
Shopping? Pam, you never do the shopping.
I'll tell you later. It seems Mr. French is a vicious man, Kathy. Perhaps you're just as well rid of him.
Vicious?
Of course. He must be, dear. Otherwise, why would he keep a loaded revolver in the upper drawer of his dresser?
Well, Miss Pamela, what are you doing around here? Why, you ain't been in the store for 6 months now.
Oh, well, I thought the drive might do me good.
Well, what'll it be?
A small rolled roast, please. About 3 pounds, perhaps.
Oh, I just got the thing for you right here. You ain't looking too well, if you don't mind my saying so. Something wrong?
No, nothing.
Oh, will this do?
Yes, well, that'll be fine.
It's kind of small.
Oh, it'll do, Mrs. Watkins. You see, Kathy and I haven't been too well lately.
Well, I thought so. Now, come on, tell me, what's up?
I know I shouldn't say anything, but I've got to talk to someone, Mrs. Watkins.
Gosh, is it that bad?
I don't know. Well, it's Sally and that husband of hers.
Really? You don't say.
Oh, well, they have been quarreling dreadfully. It's been going on all morning, and I just had to get away from it.
They was only married night before last.
You won't say anything, will you, Mrs. Watkins? Now promise me.
Oh, sure. Sure. I won't say anything.
Well, it's about the estate. Sally told him she was going to deed part of it to Kathy and me, and he flew into the most dreadful fit of temper. Well, I could hardly stand.
Well, here's your sugar, Miss Pamela.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
I'm sure sorry about that.
Oh, well, you won't say anything, will you?
Oh, no. But ain't there anything you can do?
Let's see. That'll be $3 for the lube and oil change, and another $2 for the gasoline, Miss Pamela. Total of $5.
Here you are, Mr. Spencer.
Oh, thank you, Miss Pamela. You know, I had a hard time keeping my mind on servicing your car after what you told me.
Oh, now you won't say anything, will you?
Oh, of course not, Miss Pamela. Not a word.
You're very efficient, aren't you, Pamela? The town of Newton is like a smooth pond. All you have to do is cast a few pebbles here and there, and the ripples spread over the whole surface, clear to the edges. There's another step now, a very important one. Sally is hostile and suspicious, and you're going to need her confidence.
Who is it?
Pamela!
Well, Pamela.
May I come in?
Must you?
Oh, please don't make it difficult for me, Sally.
I don't understand.
I have something to tell you. I'd like to come in and sit down, if you don't mind.
All right, Pamela. Well?
Well, I've been doing a lot of thinking, Sally, and I haven't slept much. Not since you told us about the house and the money.
Yes?
This is so unexpected. Well, you see, it threw me a little off balance.
What are you trying to say?
You know me so well, Sally. The past few years have been hard, and I know that I have been unreasonable and difficult.
Pamela, you're trying to say you're sorry, aren't you?
Oh, well, I'm so clumsy at this sort of thing. I do so want to have you and Henry forgive me.
Oh, my dear. I really believe you mean it.
Oh, I do, Sally. I do mean it. And I'm going to try hard and make Kathy understand, too. You were right, Sally. I've been such a terrible influence on that poor thing.
Oh, and darling, I'm so happy that it's working out.
Oh, Sally. Oh, I just don't.
Oh, come on now. Let's forget all about it. I'm sure Henry will understand. It's odd, isn't it? I had the feeling underneath that somehow it would work out. I just knew it, Pam.
Oh, thank you, Sally. Thank you.
Now, you go on down and tell Kathy. I've got to finish packing.
Packing? But you're not leaving until the end of the week.
Henry has to make a business trip to New York. Some things he has to settle up before we leave.
When's he going?
Tonight. He's leaving at 9. Oh, that reminds me. I must call a cab. He said to be sure and have it here for him promptly at 9. Now you run down and tell Kathy it's all cleared up, will you?
Oh, of course, Sally. Of course. That is what I get for avoiding them. How could I have been so stupid?
It's all right, Pam. Henry will be back.
Don't be ridiculous. He's leaving for New York tonight, and they're taking the steamer there in 4 days. No, Kathy, he's not coming back. He'll send for her, and she will meet him there.
But isn't there some way?
There's only one way, and it's got to happen tonight.
Oh, Pam, I'm scared. Maybe...
Kathy, now the town is ready for it. It is going to happen. Henry French is going to shoot his wife in a fit of temper and try to leave the country.
Pam, the gun. How are we going to get the gun? We can't do it without the gun. And it's in his dresser, and she's in there. And
Stop gibbering. I've got to think. Turn on the light. It's getting dark in here.
Yes, Pam.
Light. Yes, the light. That's it, the light.
What is it, Pam?
The basement. Kathy, the fuse box is in the basement, in the furnace room.
The fuse box?
He'll get here about 6. I'll go down in the basement and unscrew a fuse. And you know Henry, he'll trot on down to the basement to fix it.
What about Sally?
I'll wait till she's downstairs. You'll be on the 2nd floor in your room at the end of the corridor, and then when he leaves, you can go into the room and get the gun.
Y'all can see it pretty clearly now, can't you, Pamela? The people versus Henry French. The charge, murder. It's easy to think there in the basement as you wait in a dark corner after you unscrew the fuse and listen to the confusion upstairs as they stumble around in the dark. Then, as an afterthought, you find an old blown-out fuse on the shelf and screw it into place just in case Henry might wonder how a perfectly good one could come unscrewed by itself. Then, when it's over, you slip on up secretly to your room at the end of the 2nd floor corridor.
Did you get it?
Yes, here it is. I wore my gloves, Pam, just as you told me.
All right, now listen, we haven't much time. He's down there now waiting for the taxi. How, you've got your watch on?
Yes.
Well, now let's see. Luminous dial, that's good. Now, listen carefully. The taxi is calling promptly at 9 o'clock. Understand it's going to happen shortly after he leaves, about 9:05.
Well, who's going to do it?
You are.
Oh, Pam, I don't think I can.
You have got to. I've got to be upstairs. You'll be in the basement. Henry will leave in the taxi at 9, and I'll get Sally up on the second floor on some pretense. At 9:05, I'll scream that you have fallen down the basement stairs, and she'll run down.
Yes, Pam, I understand.
Now remember, not till after 9 o'clock. We have got to be sure Henry is gone.
All right, Pam. I'll look at my watch, I promise.
Good. Now, you better get down there. It would be rude of me not to say goodbye to him.
So the time has come, hasn't it, Pamela? 40 years of pent-up hatred is about to find relief at last. For the first time in your life, you're actually cordial to Henry as you make small talk with him in the entrance hallway, and you feel a glow of satisfaction as you watch him carry the bags to the waiting taxi. Then, just as you begin to wonder why Sally isn't there to see him off, you hear a foot on the stair, and your heart stops.
Sally!
What's the matter?
Why, is that, the suitcase? You're in traveling clothes.
Well, what's the matter with that?
You're going too?
Oh, that's it. I guess I'm not used to having you concerned about me, Pam. Well, as a matter of fact, we decided just 5 minutes ago. I convinced Henry that walking out on his wife after 4 days of marriage was a pretty dirty trick. Dear, yes, I'm coming. Well, goodbye, Pamela. I'll wire you if we decide not to come back.
Sally, you can't.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Sally. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
You watch, unbelieving, as she walks down the steps to the taxicab. It failed, didn't it? Just like everything else you ever tried. Sally succeeded, and you failed. There's a lump in your throat. You're all choked up with disappointment and bitter, corrosive hatred. Then suddenly you realize there is another way. You've got to get to Kathy and tell her. You glance at the clock, 8:45. It's still safe. Then over to the basement door.
Kathy! Kathy!
Pam!
So it didn't work out, Pamela. You're a failure even in death. And without you, Kathy is lost. She's helpless now, cringing before the sharp questions the officers throw at her, trying futilely to lie her way out of a hopeless trap. And Sally stands there unbelieving as the hatred, the jealousy come to the surface for all the world to see. More questions, more stumbling answers, then still more and more until finally...
All right! We did it! We planned to kill her!
Okay. Take her away, Joe. Well, there you are, Mrs. French.
I can't believe it. It's so fantastic.
Yeah, it is at that. They knew Mr. French was leaving at 9, planned to kill you with his gun.
In the dresser drawer. That's where I kept it.
Pamela was smart, Mrs. French, but she forgot one thing. The clock on the wall read 8:45, so she figured it was safe to open the basement door where Kathy was waiting to kill you. She forgot it was an electric clock. When she pulled the fuse down there and cut out the current, the clock lost 18 minutes.
Thank you to our wonderful performers and to our brilliant production manager, Barb Shoulders, and to you, our audience. We hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for the second half of our doubleheader. The medium was rare. Can Philip Marlowe, our world-weary PI, wrap up his case in time to cast off? That episode is coming up at 9 o'clock. So tune back in and... Shh.
Hi, kids.
You must have done a good job, Bruno. Did you want that again?
Okay. Of course, I'll pay you whatever's customary. I just don't know where to turn. And somehow we've got to locate them quickly.
Oh, I'm so glad you're back. Oh, there's the door. Will you excuse me?
Well, if it ain't the clean living type. Hey, Marlo.
Get this and get it straight. Crime is a sucker's road, and those who travel it wind up in the gutter.
You make it very difficult for me to see what is in store for you. The crystal is cloudy.
Oh, it all sounds so wonderful, Phil.
This morning I took her over to a Hollywood address.
Yes.
Hey, that wasn't very bright. Oh, Mr. Marlowe.
Good evening, and welcome to Shhh Productions Vintage Radio Hour. Our collaboration with over 50 performers and technicians from across the country, and the legacy of audio entertainment that harkens back to the golden days of radio, brings you a second season of 12 shows filled with suspense, mystery, fear, and maybe a little murder. The upcoming show, the final episode of Season 2 of Shhh Productions Vintage Radio Hour, The Medium Was Rare, adapted from the works of Raymond Chandler and originally airing in 1951, features the talents of David Allen Vargo, Shannon Siegel, Erik Bobbitt, Patty Winbush, Glenn Siegel, Heather Caldwell, Stephen Hanna, Cheryl Robinson Campbell, Bill Goldsmith, and David Bowley, in a classic detective story. You know, gangsters, missing jewels, and a twist or two. Now,
Get this and get it straight. Crime is a sucker's road. And those who travel it wind up in the gutter, the prison or the grave. There's no other end. But they never learn. Let me out of here. I gotta get away. This is the time. This is the time when all I can think of is trout streams and trails through Twelve Mountains. For every man is Hopalong Cassidy. I was sitting in my favorite restaurant till Mary, my favorite Ashley, are all about it.
Oh, it all sounds so wonderful, Phil.
Yeah, but that's not the half of it. There are waterfalls so high it seems the cascade comes from heaven itself.
Going alone, Phil?
You bet your sweet wife I'm going alone. In the words of the poet, I'm going to commune with nature.
Well, I'm the most natural thing you ever saw.
Darling, you're beautiful. Your charms are many. But you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
You don't compare to a trout.
Why, you worm.
Don't get mad, baby. It's the season.
Well, season or not, I don't like being compared to a fish.
Not a fish, baby. The queen of them all, a mountain trout. You ever hear of the Feather River Country, Mary?
If it's out of L.A. County, I've never been there.
It's in Northern California, northern fringe of the Mother Lode.
Here's your coffee. Mother who?
Hey, you know something? If I started right now, I could make it before morning.
Yeah, a quick cup of coffee, Hondo.
I'll drop everything.
Oh, well, if it ain't the clean living type. Hey, Marlo.
Hiya, Cookie. Thought they had you stashed away.
Not no more. Got paroled last week.
No kidding.
Yeah, no kidding. It was a bum rap.
Sure was, if you're out this soon.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. We're experiencing some difficulties. We will return in just a moment.
Going alone, Phil?
Well, you bet your sweet life I'm going alone. In the words of the poet, I'm going to commune with nature.
Well, I'm the most natural thing you ever saw.
Darling, you're beautiful. Your charms are many. But you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
You don't compare to a trout.
Wait, you worm.
Oh, don't get mad, baby. It's the season.
Season or not, I don't like being compared to a fish.
Oh, not a fish, baby. The queen of them all, a mountain trout. Did you ever hear of Feather River Country, Mary?
If it's out of LA County, I've never been there.
It's in Northern California, northern fringe of the Mother Lode.
Here's your coffee. Mother who?
You know something? If I started right now, I could make it before morning.
Yeah, quick cup of coffee, huh, doll?
I'll drop everything.
Well, if it ain't the clean living type. Hey, Marlo.
Hiya, Cookie. I thought they had you stashed away.
Not no more. Got paroled last week.
No kidding.
Yeah, no kidding. It was a bum rap.
It sure was, if you're out this soon.
Anything else?
Yeah. When do you get off?
A lot later than you do, because you're getting off now.
Touche, girl.
Yeah, what kind of crack is that?
That's French for I'm on your team.
James, you try to say something nice to him, and where does it get you?
Yeah, well, I gotta go, Cookie. I'm sorry to see you.
Yeah, wait. I'll go with you.
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah, you bet, Phil. Give my regards to the fish.
I'll leave you a nickel, doll.
Better keep it. The other buffalo will miss you.
Buffalo and Todd.
You gotta face it, Cookie. She's crazy about you.
You think so?
No. Well, my car's in the lot over there. I'm in a hurry, so...
Yeah, well, mine's in the lot, too. Listen, Marlo, I was just wondering, you get around? You got any idea where Chisano is?
Chisano?
Yeah.
Don't you know any decent people?
What? Hey, Chisano's my pal. Yeah, he's as decent as I am.
You made the point, Cookie.
What?
Seems to me there was some talk. He had something to do with you taking the rap in the first place, huh?
Well, listen, you don't think I'm trying to find him to knock him off or something like that?
Yeah, could be. You're about that bright. But it doesn't really matter. I don't know where he is, and I don't care. I don't want to know where you are either.
Well, that suits me good.
Good.
But only thing I don't know what you're so pissed off about. I done nothing to you. Neither has Chisano.
You make my taxes higher.
I mean, taxes.
Never mind.
Oh, you kill me, Marlo. You talk about taxes. How'd you like to pay taxes on this job?
This your heap?
Yeah, one of them foreign things. Right-hand drive.
Yeah, baby blue yet.
Matches my eyes.
Huh. What'd you do? What'd you do in San Quentin? Learn a trade?
Sure, and a good one. You decent people go right on paying taxes, Marlo. Us third-rate punks will get along.
I watched Cookie's baby blue convertible cut out into traffic, got in my own car and drove away in the opposite direction. Yeah, Cookie cinched it. I was going to knock off for a while, head for the Feather River country. Well, by the time I reached my apartment, I could almost smell the pine trees. And while I tossed a few things into a bag, I saw myself every inch a modern Isaac Walton. Oh. Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're Philip Marlowe?
That's right.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I've been calling you. I'm Lillian Collins. I told Pat not to wait.
Who's Pat?
The taxi driver.
Oh, him.
May I come in?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Thank you. Oh, my. You're packing. Or are you unpacking?
I'm packing. I'm going to the Feather River country.
Oh, but you can't.
What?
Oh, no. You can't go anywhere. I need your help, Mr. Marlowe. I really do, desperately.
Yeah, well, I just thought I'd take a few days off and...
Oh, well, of course, I'll pay you. I'll pay you whatever's customary. I just don't know where to turn, and somehow we've...
Huh? No, wait a minute. Sit down, Mrs. Collins. Is it Mrs. Collins? Mrs. Collins? Mrs. Collins, are you all right? Mrs. Collins?
Leonard's my husband. He's back east on business.
Well, just what do we have to do to locate you so quickly?
My jewelry. It was stolen last night.
Oh, well, stolen jewelry's out of my line, Mrs. Collins. That's a police job.
Oh, no. Well, that is, it can't be.
Why?
Well, I thought about the police right away, of course, but I can't call them in. Leonard would hear about it, I know, and it would be in the papers, and well, you understand, don't you?
No, I don't understand.
Well, I just couldn't, that's all.
Mrs. Collins, right now I like fishing poles better than I do people.
Oh, but you can't go. I mean, you can, of course, but I do need your help so much.
Why can't I resist dames? All right, but you have to level with me. What jewelry? When did it happen? Who knew you had it? Everything.
Well, it was a necklace. Diamonds.
Oh, yeah?
And a diamond bracelet. I had them in my jewel box last night. I'd only just taken them from our safe deposit box in the afternoon.
Oh, who knew you took them out?
Why, no one. No one knew.
Mm-hmm. Well, how did it happen? The robbery, I mean.
Well, I was in my bedroom. That's where the jewel box was.
Yeah?
I was dressing for dinner. The doorbell rang. I had to answer it. Letty's on vacation now that Mr. Collins in the East. It was Sylvia, a friend of mine. We were to have dinner together. I fixed a drink for both of us, and I went back to my bedroom for my wrap. That's when I noticed the jewelry was missing.
You hadn't heard anything? Anyone in the house?
No. Of course, the radio was on music, you know.
Mm-hmm. How would anyone get into the bedroom?
Well, the French doors were open onto the little terrace right by the bedroom. I rather presumed whoever came in that way.
Well, how much would you say this jewelry's worth?
$10,000.
Huh.
No, well, that's what it's insured for.
Anything else taken?
No, not a thing.
Do you wear this necklace and bracelet often?
Oh, no, not really. When Leonard gave it to me, he said that they were for state occasions.
No, last night was a state occasion?
Oh, no, my goodness, no. Well, that is,
If you didn't intend to wear them last night, why did you take them out of the safety deposit box?
I suppose you have to know. I needed the money, Mr. Marlowe. I have a debt Leonard knows nothing about. If I wrote a check for $10,000, he'd ask questions.
I don't blame him.
Well, there's just no need worrying him with it, that's all.
He doesn't know you gamble, does he?
I didn't say that.
You didn't have to. Have you ever pawned anything before, Mrs. Collins?
No, I haven't.
Well, I got news for you. You probably couldn't get 10 grand for him.
Oh, but they're insured for 10,000.
Doesn't matter. Unless you made a deal to have them stolen so you could get the insurance money.
Oh, really, Mr. Marlowe?
Really, Mrs. Collins. Okay, let's drive to your place and look around. Yeah, these doors have been jimmied, all right. Didn't it bother you to stay here last night after it happened?
Oh, I didn't. I stayed with Sylvia in Westwood.
Told her about the robbery, huh?
Well, no, I didn't. I started to, but then I was afraid I'd have to tell her too much.
Mm-hmm. Did you stay there last night and then come over to my apartment by cab this morning?
Well, I came here first, then to your apartment. I wanted to be sure nothing else was missing. And then I decided to get in touch with you and had Pat drive me over.
That's the taxi driver?
Yes, he's practically my chauffeur. His stand is right out front of our building here. I'm one of those native-born New Yorkers who never learned to drive.
Mrs. Collins, are you sure you're telling me everything you know about this?
Oh, believe me, I am, Mr. Marlowe. Why, it would be stupid of me not to.
Yes, it would.
I've got to have that jewelry back before Leonard comes. He just would never understand the gambling and all. He's gone so much, and we have no children. There just wasn't anything else to do. Can't you understand that, Mr. Marlowe?
No, but I'll try, Mrs. Collins. There was something tragic about her. A woman of means and advantage who was husbandless part of the time and childless all of the time. I suppose that isn't an easy life. But surely there must be other ways to fill the emptiness, huh? Well, Lillian packed a small bag and asked me to drive her to Sylvia's. As we walked toward my car, a grinning taxi driver leaned out of his cab.
Take you somewhere, Mrs. Collins.
Oh, no, not this time. Thanks, Pat. I'm freeloading.
Okay, just don't make a habit. I gotta earn a living, you know.
I know. See you later, Pat. Oh, he's awfully nice, Mr. Marlowe.
Yeah, he seems to be. So tell me about your friend, Sylvia.
Oh, well, this isn't much to tell. She's a nice person, a widow. Oh, she lives just a block or so from here. Turn on Wilshire to your left.
Okay. Tell me, does Sylvia have money?
Well, I guess so. She seems to anyway. Has a lovely apartment, a nice car. All the symbols anyway. Why?
I just wondered. Oh, by the way, if you don't want her to know you've hired me, maybe you better tell her I'm a business friend of your husband's, huh? Just dropped by as you were leaving the house, something like that?
Oh, yes. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's in this block, a big green apartment building on the right.
Okay. That's funny.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, here's the parking place. I wonder what Cookie's doing around here.
A friend of yours?
No, not possibly. That car parked there, foreign job, baby blue. It's Cookie's, all right.
Oh. Now, Sylvia's apartment is the first one on this side. You really don't have to come in, Mr. Marlowe.
The name's Murphy, remember? Old friend of your husband's.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's right.
I'll come in to carry your bag and to meet Sylvia. I'm very partial to wealthy widows.
Oh, really, Mr. Marlowe, do you think you can find my jewelry?
Well, I've got one idea so far, Mrs. Collins. If that doesn't work, well, you leave it to me, huh?
Yes, of course. Oh, here we are.
Oh, Lil darling. I'm so glad you're back. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, Sylvia, this here is Mr.
Murphy.
Oh, yes, of course, it's Mr. Murphy. Sylvia Jennings.
How do you do, Mr. Murphy?
How are you?
Well, come in, both of you. I was just getting ready for a swim.
Oh, sounds wonderful.
Maybe I could scare up a pair of trunks for you, Mr. Murphy?
Oh, thanks. No, I've got to run along. I just stopped by Mrs. Collins looking for her husband.
Mr. Murphy's from out of town. Known Leonard for years. I was all packed and ready to come over here.
So I brought her.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to explain anything to me. As a matter of fact, I can go down to the pool alone, and you two can stay here and talk about old times.
Oh, why, Sylvia!
Relax, Lil. And forgive me, Mr. Murphy. I've told stories like that myself so many times I know them by heart.
I'll bet you do at that.
You know I do.
What? Now, I just won't have you thinking that, Syl.
Now, don't be silly, darling. It's not important.
Oh, but it is. I just can't.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold it. Let's you both go down to the pool and talk it all over. I really have business to tend to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, well, you just keep it that way.
Well, will we be hearing from you about anything or anything?
Oh, sure you will. About anything. About that Sylvia. Well, the case was beginning to have its compensations, but I didn't figure Lillian Collins at all. Sometimes I thought she lied in her teeth, and sometimes I knew that she was just a bewildered dame who'd had her jewels lifted. I passed Cookie's car again, and I left, and still no sign of him. I had told Lillian I had one idea. He was still at the taxi stand in front of her apartment.
You really Philip Marlowe?
Yeah, I really am. Need proof?
No, that's okay. Mrs. Collins wouldn't be with you if you weren't the right guy. You say I can help, huh?
Yeah, maybe so. Now, look, you drive her almost everywhere she goes, huh? Now, how about telling me just where she goes, huh?
Regulation places, Saks, Magnons, places for lunch, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
This morning, I took her over to a Hollywood address.
Well, that was me.
Oh, hey, there is one place she goes.
Oh?
A couple times a week, last 3-4 weeks, a place up on top of the hills up off of Coldwater Canyon.
Friend of hers?
Well, maybe. She's usually asks me to stay, though. Usually between 15 minutes and a half an hour. That's all the longer she stays.
When was the last time you took her there?
Let me see. The day before yesterday, I think. Yeah, it was the day before yesterday.
I followed Pat's instructions through every devious curve to the top of Coldwater Canyon. The thing that interested me most was not what was ahead, but what or who was behind me in the big, expensive car. The sun was hitting the windshield just right to obscure the driver. I slowed to the isolated address. Noticed another big car parked in front. When I stopped, the car behind me stopped. A well-dressed woman got out and went into the house. As she did, she passed another well-dressed woman coming out. Looked like a change of shifts. As she drove away, I got out of the car and went up to the door. Someone, somewhere, was watching me. I could feel it.
Yeah.
Hello,
I do not believe you have an appointment, sir.
Oh, no, I didn't think to make one.
Excuse me, please, one moment.
What a creep. And what a joint.
You will come in, please.
Yeah, thanks.
May I inquire, sir, who referred you here?
I have to have a reference?
Madam must insist on references, sir.
Oh, she insists, huh? Yeah, well, I'm a friend of Mrs. Collins. Lillian Collins?
Yes, Mrs. Collins.
Yeah.
You will follow me then. Madam will see you now.
Yeah, more to the point, I will see Madam. I followed the Peter Lorre character down a darkened hallway. As far as I could tell, there was no door ahead. It looked like a blind alley. Even in the darkness, I sensed that someone could see me. I didn't have long to think about it. Just when we reached what looked like an impasse, the little man ahead of me pulled some heavy drapes aside and nodded for me to enter. I walked into a room that was heavily draped on all sides, pungent with the smell of incense. And studying me from across the room, a Grecian-robed woman seated beside, so help me, a crystal ball.
You will come in, please, and be seated.
Yeah, I will. You see,
Hush!
Hmm?
You will remain silent. It is so necessary, your silence. Bruno, you may go.
Yes, madam.
Hey, they're very clever, those drapes. When they're closed, you can't tell where the door is.
I must insist. Your silence is very important. You're in need of help. Much help. Or you would not be here.
Yeah, well, you could say that, yeah.
You make it very difficult for me to see what is in store for you. The crystal is cloudy. Very cloudy.
Yeah, quit breathing on it.
Please.
Oh, excuse me.
Now, you are seeking something, probing, searching out, and this is not a good thing. Some things one must not pursue. I regret to say, for you I see much trouble, great trouble, and death. You are in need of rest, my friend. Rest and sleep. A long sleep. Bruno will help you. Bruno will help you to sleep.
The madam's predictions were suffocatingly accurate. Bruno helped me sleep all right, with a strong assist from a spongeful of ether. My watch said it was 2 hours later when I came out of the anesthetic, a long way from the house on the top of Coldwater Canyon. I was in my own car, parked on Estrada Beach, north of Santa Monica Boulevard. 10 minutes and a blast of bourbon later, I entered Sylvia Jennings' apartment again. This time there was no sign of Cookie's baby blue car.
I don't think Lillian will be long. She remembered some shopping she had to do.
Did she?
You don't look as if you feel very well, Mr. Marlowe.
Oh, I feel just fine. I just woke up from a long sleep. And by the way, Mrs. Jennings, you really shouldn't call me Mr. Marlowe.
Oh, yes. Now, where on earth do you suppose I got the name Marlowe?
I really wouldn't know. Okay, where's Lillian, huh?
I told you, she went shopping.
Without her purse?
Well, what do you...
That blue bag there. She was carrying it when I brought her here.
Now, isn't that odd?
Yes, isn't it?
Oh, the door.